Man, welcome to the Tolleson-Mack podcast. Today, the podcast is brought to you by Cattleman's Processing. I really like those guys down there.
Yep.
My wife does all the work. I take all the credit. We've talked about that before. But let's talk about Tanner Baldwin. Tanner, are you ready for this podcast, pimp? You ready to go? These guys are excited. And I don't know if they're so excited because look at them. They got like some stories on Tanner or what's popping over here. I don't know.
He gets he's probably been brought up more than most on this since we started.
We always talk about
Yeah.
Tanner. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Well, and Chad at Flint Farm.
Yeah, for sure.
We give Chad a lot of love.
Don't forget Alfredo
Ready?
while we're at it.
Ready?
Alfredo. Yes,
Ready?
sir.
Yeah.
But Cesar, let's give us a rundown on all your buddy old Tanner Baldwin. You've known him the longest
let's
out of
see it.
us, so
Man, Tanner and I are actually related. We're cousins from way back, so I've known him ever since he was a little bitty guy. And man, he's been one of the premier ropers in Arizona for a while now. And here lately, I've really been going and training horses with him, and he's a good eye to kind of, when I'm messing up or doing something wrong, he can kind of point out to certain things. He's been around some world-class horse trainers, and man, he's I feel like the American Rope Horse Maturity deal, he's really taken a liking to it, and he can train a heel horse now. Really good with the heel horses. So, Tanner, you got a horse right now of Brandon Brown's as we speak. What's his name, Brandon?
love the ladies.
Love the
You gotta
ladies.
say it like love the ladies.
Love the ladies.
Like it's like a strip club intro or something. Like, love the ladies.
Tell us about that horse's journey a little bit, Tanner. You got him. He's only 4 years old, right?
Yep. So we got him last year?
Scoot up, Tanner.
Sorry. We got him last year, and he was 3 years old. He come from a guy in Scottsdale. We went and picked up 2 horses. Brandon, he gets me into some stuff.
No way, not Brandon Brown.
Yeah, no, I mean,
The farmer.
yeah, exactly, the phone. So he's like, hey, we have to go pick up these 2 horses, this and that. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So we go down there. He knows nothing about the situation, like always. He's just
Standard.
His stepdad, Jason, told him to go do it. So we went and did it.
Well, there's somebody else right there.
Yeah.
He didn't know the situation.
Yeah, Jason is not gonna know the situation.
He's in
So
Kansas.
we just went blind into this whole deal. And it worked out pretty good.
Yeah.
Now he's 4 years old. And
You guys are riding him at some rope horse futurities.
yeah, we
and
did
stuff?
one, which he's pretty green. It's at the beginning of his 4-year-old year. So that's tough for him. But we're going to go to Fort Worth in October, I think it is. And I think we're going to do
You
all.
just got back from California and rode him out there, didn't you?
I rode him a little bit out there, and we hauled him, but he's still, for his age, I didn't want to put too much pressure on him. We're just kind of taking him.
So how does that deal work? So kind of explain it to the listeners on the horse futurity side, right? You're saying it's his 4-year-old year, so is there like a 4 or 5, 6-year-old year? Is that how that works? Or does it go in a bracket?
Yeah,
situation, or-
so on that deal, and now they didn't do it, but most of the time they have a 4-year-old incentive is what it's called.
Okay.
So it's for horses that are 4 years old. And the age group's 4, 5, and 6. So the 4-year-old incentive's only for the 4-year-olds. And they could only start going in January of their 4 years. So they might not
okay.
they might not turn 4 years old until May, but in January of
That's
that,
their 4-year-old year.
yeah, that's a
basically.
4-year-old year. So we went to Scottsdale in February, and he was probably still, I mean, technically 3, but in the horse deal, it's 4 years old, you know?
So, I mean, we know the owner of the horse is sitting here, but I mean, what do you think about him? I mean, you're the one riding him.
I'll tell you
putting in the
what.
work.
He's an athlete.
Is he?
So, like, he's just so big and strong for his age.
Mm-hmm.
Like, horses nowadays, I mean, you could ask Cesar, they just, at 4 years old, they're not that big. I don't know why. The breeding's just made him with a pretty small, you know?
Right.
And for his age, he's big. I mean, he's probably 16. I mean, he might be 16 hands tall. Like, he's a big horse.
And I know that these guys tease you a little bit, and everybody was kind of joking around before the podcast, but I mean, we got Dennis Gates on here saying you're the one of the best to ever come out of Arizona, and especially riding and training on a horse, and you know, with tutelage from this guy and riding a good horse. I mean, do you feel like this horse could take you
Oh, yeah.
down the road?
Yeah.
Far?
Once his brain matures, he's going to be a game changer.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to, like, it's hard to explain. Like LeBron James, he's just so much bigger and stronger than everybody else. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just once his brain gets there.
is it like LeBron where, where you look at LeBron or you look at Michael Jordan or, any of those guys and it just looks easy for them? Like they just figured out, like it looks easy. We had Shea Hillenbrand here before, and he said in 5th grade, wasn't it? Like 5th grade, he decided he was going to play baseball and he was going to own a zoo, and he did both of those things.
Yeah.
So some people are just athletes. Does that transcend also in the horse world?
Yeah, and like for him, I mean, I'm kind of
the horse, that horse in particular too, he's big and strong, and so they have to work easy. It has to look pretty. They have to have presence. There's
the feel of it's easy for him. Like it takes nothing for him to do it.
Right. So I guess my question is, does this horse love the ladies? Does this horse pick up on things faster than, like, say, another 4-year-old you've been riding or other 4-year-old you rode in the past? Or he's so big and stout that you kind of got to push him to it, but once you push him to it, he's going to be the game changer.
Exactly. He's not like maturity. He's the same. Like his maturity level is like any 4-year-old. Okay. Once his brain develops to his body, then that's when you're going to see a real change in the horse. But right now, his brain needs to catch up with his body. His body's so big and he's so athletic. Yeah. But his mind is still like a kid. Yeah. So once his mind gets where he's mature and he's focused 100% on and knows what he's doing, then that's when people...
It's like the 6'4" freshman kid playing football. Yeah. He's going to make the varsity team, but he's not going to be varsity caliber until senior year, basically, right?
Right.
It's a pretty easy way to put it, I think. So besides Love the Ladies, and you said you guys are going to Fort Worth on him?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Excited about that?
Yeah.
You excited about that?
A little bit.
You going to Fort Worth?
Yeah.
Are you?
Of course.
Really? Mm-hmm. Oh, thanks for the invite.
You're taking me.
Oh, yeah. You going, Cesar?
I'll be there. I'll be there.
Well, we might as well podcast it up over there. We'll just set it right by the arena and do like live. Poor Tanner's like at nothing but pressure, right?
Live podcast.
And let me tell you, this was all by mistake or accident. This is a Jason's story. We went over there. All of a sudden, we got the horse. It was over there at the house, and we're like, let's just ride it one day. And then you're like, it wasn't like I don't know shit about this horse. Never been on it.
I didn't either.
Nothing. And,
at the time, it was just all. It was just one of those deals. It's meant to be it, I think. Yeah.
The cool thing about this rope horse maturity deal, it's going to give opportunity for a guy like Tanner, that's a horse trainer, really good hand with a horse, and you have an owner like Brandon. And what he's going to do, he's going to be the owner. He might not ever ride the horse. The horse is very powerful, like he's athletic. He's a lot of animal. So Brandon might not ever ride him, but just the cool aspect of showing up at Fort Worth, cheering his team on, his horse and his header, like this trainer. The rope horse maturity is a pretty cool deal. It's just like it's not like rodeo where it's like we're a team and we're trying to go beat these other guys. It's like the owners have a team, and you have riders and you have groomers. And it's like a community over there at the fraternity.
Yeah, it's like Richard Kraft's never going to play football for the Patriots, but he's there every game to cheer his team on.
That's
right?
The team.
Yeah, that's his team. Yeah. That's super cool. And me personally, I'm super excited about it, right? Because I get to go over there, hang out with you guys, and watch that, and watch Brandon's horse perform. I've had some friends that have had race horses. And it's super fun to go to Rio Dosa and watch them run or whatever. So I think it's kind of along those lines, right? Race horsing's got
it's changing a lot. The rope and rodeo game is changing a lot now.
And is that kind of giving you guys, I don't know, maybe a place outside of rodeo to further a career? Like, Cesar's saying you're a good horse trainer. Dennis, gave you accolade beyond accolade about training horses. But is it giving you guys the chance to roll with it?
Yeah, and that's the thing, riding a lot of outside horses. It gives these guys something like Brandon to look forward to.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like, hey, I'm going to leave my horse a year, and by the end of the year, let's see what it could do.
So how does that work? So let's walk down that road. I leave my horse with you. Okay. Right? I'm going to pay you so much a month or so much or whatever that number is. But are you training and roping on that horse daily where I can call you up and say, hey man, I'm out in wherever you are, Buckeye or whatever. I'm out in Buckeye and I'm going to cruise by and check out my horse. I mean, is that pretty standard for the people that own it? Or is it like you just keep them abreast of what's going on? Man, your horse is doing this. He's doing really well. And I'll see you at the show, or how does that work?
You know, I think it's kind of both ways. I've had people that come and stop by and once or twice a week, and they come and rope with us and check them out, and they're really into it. And then I had another guy that had an awesome horse with us, and he only came out one time.
How many times have I came out?
And this guy's never been out yet.
Never been out. Well, it's because he's a farmer. You got to tell the story. Tell the story about him calling you a farmer.
So, I give a lot of credit to this guy. He's made me the little bit more cowboy than definitely when I showed up over there. And he's taught me a lot about it, and he's taught me the right way. He's chewed my ass out. He's called me, but he always called me, you're a farmer, and I was like, yeah, I'm a farmer, that's cool. Well, I found out farmer is not cool in the cowboy. If a cowboy calls another cowboy a farmer, that's fist fight shit, and I'm just like, yeah, fucking call me a farmer. And it's like, no. So then when I found out that's like being called a goober, then I realized it. But what I can say about Tanner and Cesar here, but this time that I got to spend over there, that when that winter with you and Nano and shit, that was the most. I mean, you asked my wife, that was the most fun time of my life, because for about 3 months I came about every single day. And with my all 4 windows down, music blaring,
cowboy hat.
I just tried to set the vibe every day when I showed up over there, and every single day.
You were getting your mind right.
And I got a new horse at that time, so I was like roping every day, and like it was.
Oh, we was gonna win $100,000. We had all kinds of.
Oh
plans.
Man,
where was that at?
At the feedlot.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Tolleson.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And Tanner had the North Point over there, so we did a lot of gambling and.
Big time gambling, pool tables.
Really?
Yeah. Playing cards.
Flipping quarters. He brought up flipping quarters.
There was one time
who taught you how to flip quarters?
Oh shit! There was one time though, I owed you a lot of money, and I had to go back to my truck, and I had to get more.
$1,800.
Oh, from gambling?
Yeah, I was deep in this, so I had cash in my truck.
Not from training the horses.
No. So I come back, and luckily he would double or nothing. He had the balls to keep going, and I had to. So
there was $1,800 bills on the ground.
Yeah.
And it was bad. That was a bad deal.
But that's cool.
Well, yeah.
Right? That's just you and your buddies having a good time.
Yeah.
And there's never nothing wrong with that, I don't think.
And Nano Guards, I gotta give him a lot of credit too. He took the approach with me a little bit more kinder, and to teach me how to be a cowboy a little bit different.
One thing about me, I get riled up.
A little.
It don't take much for me to be like, what is going on out here?
It's funny because he's real soft with the horse, easy with the horse. Like he
That's
gives
what
horses
everybody told me.
10 chances, but you only get one chance if you're a human.
I literally, dude. I had met you before at the feedlot and stuff, but literally that's what everybody said. Same thing Cesar said. Man, he will work all day.
Yeah.
With a horse in the corner of the arena by himself. You piss him off as a person, he'll chew your ass out in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Just boom.
And I'll give Tanner. These cowboys will get a bad rap about shit, but this boy right here wakes up every single morning, and he has 10, 15 fucking head saddled by the time I got there. And
what do we talk about? No clock.
Yeah, I know this. There's the cowboys get a bad rap about a lot of stuff, but this guy right here works his ass off. Yeah. I'll give him that.
And Brandon, he's helped me out a lot.
If you guys want a hug, can we wait till after the podcast? No, I'm just kidding.
Exactly. I was wanting to talk to you a little bit about what your a new venture you've had this last couple years. You've done the steer deal.
Yeah.
And you've actually got you take cattle to Rancho Rio and a few of the bigger places in Arizona. And I was wanting to talk to you a little bit about that and. For some of the viewers and listeners, what they have to look forward to next winter when they come back to Arizona for the cattle and, kind of roping. So they're probably going to be sending some big, strong steers over there at Rancho Rio.
Well, yeah, so it all started through Brandon. I moved Buckeye, when was it? Tolleson, 2 years ago.
Right here in the back then.
Yeah, right out here in the back. I stayed for 1 week, and then I moved, he had a feedlot. In Rainbow Buckeye.
That's over there where we picked up that little cow, right? Yeah.
So this was all Brandon's doing. He had all these steers, and he's like, let's do it. And I'm like, all right. And I came down here. I didn't really have a place to stay. So it was like, man, Cesar was like, hey, you need to go down there. And I'm like, it's probably a good idea. I should just go do it and see what happens, you know? Like, who knows?
Well, you got to gamble.
Yeah, a little bit. So we get down there, and it was kind of at first, it was a little slow.
We had to build an arena from scratch.
We didn't have an arena. I had outside horses, and I'm like, man, I don't know how this is going to work. And Brandon's like, dude, we're going to build an arena. And I'm like, I don't know.
Positive thinking.
Yeah, he's like, we're going to do it. Finally, we did it. We built this arena. It took us about a month. We got us a decent arena up, and it was on.
Yeah.
So he had a bunch of steers, and he did a bunch of jackpots. He didn't produce them, but he hauled the cattle to the producers.
Supplied the cattle for the
jackpots. And I would just stay in the feedlot and help him. Mm-hmm. Well, then it got going, and he's big time farming. So you know how farming it gets busy, and it's just hard to do. I mean, being a cowboy is a full-time job. Like, the cow don't sleep on Sunday. It's 24/7, 7 days a week.
Yeah.
You have to pay attention. So Brandon, he's like, I don't know. I think I'm gonna get out. And I'm like, I just got a girlfriend, and her dad's big time into cattle and ranching in South Dakota, and he kind of seen what we did.
He was super cool dude.
Yeah,
I like talking to him.
Shout out Derek.
Yeah, Derek. I mean, shit, he got on the phone. We talked for an hour about probably nothing.
Yeah, you could talk to him. He's an awesome guy.
He's a cool dude.
Yeah, and he picked it up and he liked it. And he's like, man, and we went partners in on the deal, and we started buying Mexican roping steers. Mm-hmm. We started out. We had like 80 of them that we got from South Dakota. We hauled them down here, and it was kind of slow at the beginning of the winter, and then we got a few more, and then by the end of it, we got quite a few deals with Ty Yost and some World Series ropings down here.
And the one over at, don't you take them to Gilbert?
Yep, and then we do Double C, which Brandon, he had that.
Okay.
And Tucson.
We did some of the pro rodeos, and then Cesar, his uncle George, he has the Mike Silvey roping. Big deal in February. We did that.
So
so it kind of just took off it's kind of from here.
So let's dig into that a little deeper, because really until Brandon bought the steers, I mean, I was the same as everybody else. I just show up at a roping. The steers were there. I was happy with them when we roped them. But man, he called me one day and he's like, man, we got to go break in all these steers. We got to do all this. I'm like, it's that much work? He's like, dude, it's a lot of work. And I'm like, okay, all right.
And that's where I was, the mindset, I was like, I know I can't do this work. You know, I know what I'm capable of doing. And
you can produce the feed to feed them.
Yeah, and that's about it when it comes to that. So that's why, with help from Jason and these guys, I couldn't have done it. There's no way. I would have ruined the steers, my horse, and me at the same time.
So let's walk some of the listeners down that. I mean, you guys, start them from the beginning. You know, you buy them fresh.
We buy them fresh. So now what we do...
How big are their horns, like, average when you buy them?
So this is the problem now. So we buy them all from Mexico.
Okay.
And back, 10 years ago, you used to be, hey, I want to buy your number ones. They would cross them, and they would all size them and group them, and they would have good horns and good body. That would be your number ones. And then the little smaller ones. Yeah. Well, now...
Same way we buy steers.
Yeah. Now, the steers, there's not very many of them because people ain't going to breed any. They really ain't worth that much money compared to a beef cattle. Exactly. So a lot of people has got away from it. Mm-hmm. So now when you buy them, you try to get all number ones, but there's no guarantees. You just get them in sizes. So for me, it's tough. Because one load is 100 head of steers, 110 head of steers. Mm-hmm. It costs roughly $90,000. Well, if one loader, if only 40 of them are good to rope, you might have to keep the other 40 and just feed them.
Right.
And you know how much that costs, $2 or $3 a day to feed 40 head of steers. So
that you're not being able to make money off of.
Yeah, and let's say we paid $820 a round for them. Uh-huh. So now we have $850, $860 in them. 870 in them before we even
And
get
instead
to
of being able to cheapen them back by roping them, every run they get a little cheaper, every run they get a little cheaper. You're putting feed in them and making them more money, where when you call a guy like me that wants to feed them, you're going to tell me, well, man, I got 840 in this thing, and I'm going to offer you 780 because that's what the going market is, and you just had to take another $60 hit. Yeah. You know, so yeah, I mean, I definitely understand that side of it. On that load of 100 that you buy, I mean, how does that work? You call up your buddies, everybody you know that's pretty handy with a rope, and you say, let's go break in some steers. I'll bring the quarters and the dice, or how does that go?
Man,
I'm not easy to work for. Let's just say that. Man, especially like, I don't pay very much.
Well, then it's like you're messing up a $900 steer. Right. Like so we're breaking them in. Point, yeah, we get them in, and we're gonna run them through, show them the back end, and then we're gonna put it on the chute, and we're gonna circle them and show them how to lead. We might do that twice. And then we're going to bring them,
We will do that twice. We will do it one time around the horns, and either one time around the neck or one time around half head.
Okay.
So when you rope them at the roping, they know how to handle both ways.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you're going to do that twice, right? Mm-hmm. So you're going to run up, say you bring up 30 steers. So you're going to do that twice. So that's 60 runs. And then you're going to bring them up again, and you're just going to put it on two horns and then just turn them. And so they don't know that it's coming. And then you're going to put a regular full contact team rope and run on.
So we're at 90 runs for the day.
So we're at 120.
Once you put it on.
And that's just one set. And we bring in groups of 30, and we got a truckload of 110 to break in.
Right.
So that's a full horsepower at that moment.
Yeah, it's a full day. You got to have horses. You got to have good health.
And on top of that, now we're talking about 300-400 head we did this year.
Right. So say just keep it at the 100, right? A truckload. Yeah. On a day like that, or actually a couple of days, probably it takes. What's it take? 2 days to break.
It's easier on the cow if you do it a couple of days. It's hard on them if you just do it on one day. Yeah.
Okay, so a couple of days. How many head of horses are you guys riding? I mean, just on average. And the reason I'm getting to this, Tanner, is we sit here and we talk about a lot of stuff, right? We talk about horses that you're really going to be able to go compete on is going to be that $50,000 horse, that $50,000 horse. And I was not a believer until I rode some of those horses. Now I'm a firm believer in that. But the reason that I'm getting to this point is you guys have so much invested in that asset before you see a return. And then, I mean, if you break it down, what do you make a run? A couple bucks? Every run that they go out of the chute?
Yeah.
A couple bucks?
Yeah.
Right? So, when a guy's going to a roping and he's bitching because it's 125 and it was 100 last year, well, guess what, dude? Steers cost $800-900 now, and I'm having to pay this guy for 2 days of his time and that guy for 2 days of his time, and I'm having to bring 10 horses of my own.
Shit.
So you know what I'm saying? Yeah. All of that shit starts to add up. So how many horses does it take you guys, horsepower wise? Average it, but to break in 100 steers.
Every guy's different.
Every guy's different.
Right. Nano, he'll ride one horse all day long. I don't know how he'll find out. Yeah, he'll ride it all day long. Me, it depends the horse. Like Brandon's horse. Mm-hmm. And you know what? I might get on him first thing in the morning and put it on 5 or 6 times on him and then go tie him up. And I might do that on 4 or 5 horses.
To get them the experience.
Yep, right? To get them the experience. And then once I'm done and I'm just going to go rope them one time, I don't really want to ride a colt. I want to ride a horse that maybe I don't have so much money in or I ain't worried about, I should say. And just go do it for the steer.
Yeah, because you're at that point doing it for the steer. Yeah. You're doing it for your investment.
Training the steer.
You're training the steer
at that point. You know, when you put it on in the chute and you circle them, I think it's good for the colts and the young horses to take that and, not too much. Don't overdo it, in my opinion. But 5 or 6 times and you feel him and you're like, all right, he feels pretty good. Go to the next one. Mm-hmm. But when I'm going to rope them live, I'm going to train the steer.
Right. And I mean, it has to be, that has to be your job, right? You're there to do a job. You're not there to show off with your buddies. You're not there to win a jackpot. You're not there to do nothing.
Train the steer.
You're there to train the steer. So if you run up there and you're screwing around or your horse ducks out or something,
you will get your ass chewed out.
Yeah, you'll get your ass chewed out. But guaranteed, But not only that, but you probably screwed up the last 2 days you've been working on this goddamn steer.
And we talk about, the break it in process. I mean, we're talking these fresh steers coming through the system. The guy that's, hot shot them in there, you can't be jousting them. They'll break their horns. I mean, you can't just have the normal buddies that come work your shoots come that day.
Yeah, because a bunch of guys standing back there thinking fighting ain't the right thing to do.
Yeah, and there's a lot of aspects I learned to this thing. They break a horn off, and I'm like, what? It's just it's crazy.
Right, and I think people on the outside looking in, and I mean, they just kind of take all that for granted, right? Because like I said,
they go to the rope and they're like, they steers.
Well, before Brandon bought steers, I mean, that's how I was. I showed up, oh, shit, man, these are all right. Oh, that one sucks. Whatever, you're going to talk a little shit about that steer and go on about, but once he bought it and started telling me everything that went into it, I'm like, holy shit, I'm just going to keep my mouth shut. Rope my steer and hope I get a good one. You know what I mean? Exactly. So, what's on the horizon? Like, what are you doing, man?
So, I think this year we're going to try to just stay on doing Rancho Rio and some stuff like that. And then hopefully get into doing small World Series opens and bigger 2-day events and stuff.
How many head do you send to a World Series? I guess let me back up. Are you the only one sending them to that, or is it
It depends. Some of them
Buckeye. Say Buckeye.
This year, Buckeye is the first time I did every roping.
Okay.
For 3 days.
So how many steers did that take you to do every roping?
We did we had 320, and so we send some. They go in and out. So by the end of it, we had 320 head probably ran through.
But so that's what it takes to put on a World Series roping, and he just told you how much those steers cost, and after he pays him and him and him and him, they're $1,000 around. So you got $320,000 worth of cattle.
Exactly.
Going to a World Series roping.
Exactly.
That's funny, right? Hey, whoa.
Wait. Let's stop right now. Plus the freight.
Oh, yeah.
Because that ain't free.
Yeah. No, I'm just talking about the cattle.
And plus having somebody wrap those steers.
You guys have to fucking love the game.
Make sure
you have to love
first one's there and the last one's leave.
Make sure they are fed though, because just the little things people don't think of. They know that you have to do, but they just don't think of it. It's
going to these rodeos and the committee says, there's going to be water troughs there, there's going to be hoses, everything. You get there and there ain't shit, and you're like, fuck, where's the nearest Ace Hardware?
You have to go buy $300 worth of
because it's probably 10 o'clock at night.
How many times have we had to do that?
$200 worth of water hoses.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You think the committee comes over here and is like, here's
your 200 back.
No.
And then you get there, the gates are locked. They didn't know we were coming. Nope.
Nope. Well, the gates are locked from this time to this time. They didn't.
And Brandon's a farmer.
Yeah, exactly. You should have had the keys. At least a grand.
You guys think I'm a high-head? Get this guy back.
Oh, no, I know. Yeah, I made the mistake of calling him the other day when he was arguing with the construction company.
Oh, man.
And I don't even know why he took my call. I wish he would have voicemailed my ass. By the end of the deal, I'm like, hey, dude, I don't own that construction company, right? I was just calling you to say hi. And see what was going on. So
I love the guy.
But dude, $320,000 worth of steers in this market.
And this is the thing. That's so crazy. So, and when we buy those steers, you think I go to Mexico and see them? We write a check for $90,000.
That's why you like gambling so much.
And then when we unload that trailer door, I'm just like, look at my legs. What am I getting?
Mystery
and then pretty soon you got one little one. You're like,
oh, that sucker get in there.
There's a 100-pound difference. What's that?
Then we had one that was.
Remember that? Yeah, the Mike Serby steers. We had some different sizes, man.
That's a 5-year-old steer that they just caught and cut.
He had curl and everything. His tail was dragging the ground. You know what I mean?
But that's the issue.
They can at least cut their tails.
That's what people don't realize the issue is nowadays.
Yeah.
They think that you buy 100 head of steers and they're all going to be the exact same. People don't raise steers anymore like that. Roping cattle because they ain't worth nothing.
The money's just not into it. So the other side of that cattle game is what I do. And man, there just ain't no money in raising them.
No. And then I tell him, you go and buy natives. You buy 20 natives from this guy and then 20 natives from that guy and then 20 natives from that guy and you put them all together and none of them are the same.
Yeah, so I was roping before the podcast today, and I was talking to Josh Peterson. He manages my buddy's feedlot out there in Palo Verde, Arlington Cattle. And I asked him, I said, hey, I said, you guys getting some bought and stuff? Because I seen a post he had put up on Facebook. And he said, man, they're hard to find. He goes, I got like 40 I need to pick up. He's like, but same deal you're saying, 10 here, 15 over there. I got 6 over here in Chandler. Yeah. And so on the backside of that, the feet of it's the same thing. So it's pretty wild, that Coriani market, because that wild market drives a multi-million-dollar market.
Yep.
Right? Because without Corianis, ain't nobody roping Holsteins. You know what I mean? So
they got to try.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I don't know. I think people will start roping muleys more.
Really?
I don't know,
but the problem with that is I'm going to be at the sale barn competing with you for the muleys because I'm wanting to feed them.
Yeah, but at least I could rope them for. I mean, I'll pay a little bit more for a muley because I could rope them a little bit and then turn around
and then sell them. Yeah, because that makes sense.
I might only lose $100 instead of $500 on that.
So that makes a lot of sense, actually, because you're going to cheapen them back right away by roping them, whatever you charge to run through the chute, and then you're going to take them back and you're going to have a product to sell, right? When you go back in there, you package up 30 pretty similar sized muleys, and with the cattle shortage going on right now, they're worth some money.
And this is the other thing about in-branded steers. So when we get in-branded steers, they come from wherever they're raised or whatever in like 2 days, and they drive them down to the border, and then they jump them through the whatever.
Yeah, the dip.
And then they cross them, and then they take them straight to us. So for 2 days, I mean, they're stressed out pretty. And the hardest thing for a roping steer is stress. Right. So when you get over here, you might get 2 or 3 of them come off the truck and they just starve down to nothing. And I mean, it's almost hard to save them. I mean, you're probably going to lose 2 of them.
Really?
I would almost say.
Yeah, I'm still stuck on the $320,000.
It's a big deal. That's why I brought Tanner on. Wanted him to come to talk about
that. But then,
that.
like you said, look at what it produces.
Right.
Like Rancho Rio, downtown, the wintertime.
Dude, and that's here.
That's just in Arizona.
Yeah.
But here is a different community.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. You got people from every state coming here to meet up right here.
We talk about that all the time. So we talk about, it gets real dicey because we're Arizona and we're strong Arizona. Everybody's Arizona, and then there's Texas.
Yeah.
And I guess when we do the podcast in Texas, we might say that with a little more authority. But like we're proud to be from Arizona, and what you say is right. Like all these people come here, and so do we have? Who has a better cattle? Us or Texas? Or does Texas have a better opportunity at getting those? Or
nobody. I mean, it's. I don't.
It's just different, the Mexican border. We can get them from Nogales or El Paso, and they can go down, farther south.
Pass,
there's Del Rio. There's a place over there to go get some too. But then, just like Tanner was saying, the cattle change. When you go that far in Mexico like that, the cattle, on the western side of Mexico are going to be a different. It seems like they're a little more Bramer, from that side. Then you go more east side of Texas, or right there, Del Rio and that side of Mexico, and they'll be a little more. They look more, I guess, Corriente style. There'll be paints and stuff, but I feel like you see more Bramer on certain sides of Mexico.
Yeah.
When they cross them.
When they cross them up there.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm amateur in this deal. We just watch it. We have fun doing it. I have a good time doing it. So we'll watch some stuff on YouTube, and like you watch some of the ropings that they put on in Oklahoma, and like they're roping shit that we'd be killing.
Yeah.
I mean, those are big steers,
right.
And then you watch Rancho Rio, and it's like, man, that's the same sport, but they're playing with a different size ball or something. You know what I mean? It's weird.
Yeah.
And right now, I think it's hard to complain because, like you said, it's just there's a shortage in cattle, and roping's got to. I don't know if it's a technology in it, but roping's got big. A lot of kids rope, and little kids, they rope good. I mean, how many little kids are 6 and 7s?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When I was growing up, there might be 3 or 4 or 5 of them,
Yeah.
Now,
all across the country. There's a whole bunch of them here in Arizona.
Yeah.
Now there's 10, little Michael Camel.
Is it 9 elite,
9 elite, Denton, Dunny. I could go on.
So do you think, and this is actually meant to come out as a joke, but do Do you think what you said, like it's hard for them guys to complain? You think you're going to get team ropers to stop complaining?
No, never.
Okay. Okay. We can move on past that now.
Team ropers will always complain until they have to step up and try to do it. And then they're going to be like, I don't know.
Because I bet you Tanner don't complain anymore about Cal. Like, he was good.
He's not.
He was good. I don't think he was bad at all. I don't know why he was dragging his nose on the ground, but we'll work on that. We'll work on that tomorrow. Yeah. So on the horizon, huh? Just more cattle, more just growing the brand.
Yeah.
So what's your cattle company called?
I don't know.
It ain't KB Cattle Company no more.
I don't know.
What do we need to call it? Tanner Cattle Company.
K and T, ain't
no, it's TNT Production.
TNT. Dynamite.
Yeah, that was my roping producing company.
Is there a Facebook page attached?
Yeah, you can go to TNT Productions.
Right, well, we gotta send the people over there.
Yeah, TNT Productions.
Have them go check it out. So,
and we'll have some breakaways this winter. That's what we're gonna get into is breakaways.
Breakaway game.
This is where we're gonna get our cattle for our breakaways.
I like it.
And that's why I'm saying mealies, because I'm getting where I'm wanting to buy some more calves and mealies and stuff like that. Because
so when my brain kicks in, you just turn your breakaway calves into muleys. You're gonna team rope. Then you take them because you've cheapened them way back.
Exactly.
Now you
see.
So yeah.
Honestly, I'd like to see more muley ropings out here.
Dude,
I think
it's fun.
that's. I mean, you got to use your horse a little bit more, and it's just. I mean, for a header that can reach and rope the muley from the coil two back, it's very impressive. And it's very hard to do.
And it's going to weed out a lot of people. It's going to weed out a lot of people because. You have to have roped somewhere else outside of an arena to be able to rope a muley good, I think.
Yeah. But a lot of people grown up roping muleys. Like a lot of older gentlemen, they're like, oh, that's all we ever grew up roping. You know what I mean? A lot of people, that's what they practice because their parents would buy that because they could turn around and sell it and not lose.
Or eat it.
Or eat it and not lose money, you know?
Right. Man, we're back with Tanner Baldwin. Thanks for watching the Tolleson-Mack podcast. Cesar did just let me know that you guys can get Rat Bastard Energy Drink on Amazon. That's the place to get it, huh?
Mm-hmm. That's the best place right now to get it. Yep, and they're starting to sell them in stores and convenience stores now. It's getting
cool. Keep us posted, man. Everybody seems to really like it.
It's awesome.
Cool.
With some vodka.
Mm-hmm.
What did they call that?
Well, they in Vegas they called it a dirty bastard with whiskey.
Why wouldn't they?
Yeah. In Vegas, you got to kind of get a pick me up, and they really liked it over there in Vegas.
Cool. So Tanner, before we went to break, you were breaking it down for me. You know what it costs to have these steers and broken and everything like that. So say I'm a producer and I want to put on a team roping, and I need 100 head. Kind of walk me through that. So it's going to cost me a certain amount for the cattle. It's going to cost me a certain amount for the freight. And, to get the steers there and back, or is that all worked in the cattle, or how does that all work?
So we pay by the run. Each time the gate opens, we get paid.
Okay.
Now, a freight's a whole different deal. Okay. So say you want 100 head of steers.
Okay.
For us, easiest is to get a pod. We don't have one, so we have to call a guy, and whoever it is, they have a pod, and they come get it. Or we can haul them, but we only have a trailer big enough to haul them 46, 47 at a time. So
and I'm not saying this just because I have a cattle pod. I mean, you have a cattle pod. A lot of people we know have cattle pods. But it's not very efficient to haul 46 head across town when you're putting them in behind a $120,000 F450, F550, whatever you're running. And the trailers are another 40, 50,000 probably for that size stock trailer. That's not real economical, right?
No, and that's so, it's at the end of the day, it's just as cheap to have a pod come and get them.
Just have a pod come. So then do you take, I say and I'm just spitballing here, but say it's $500-600 to go from here to the other side of town. Do you take that $500-600, break it down on the runs, and they pay you, or do they pay you separately in freight? And I'm just asking this for say somebody's listening and they're like, man, I really want to. I want to put on roping.
So how that would go is say if we had a pod, whatever the guy charges us to haul the cattle is what we would charge you for freight.
So and they kind of know that beforehand.
Yes,
hey, I call the pot and it's going to cost. $500 to take them over.
And I will have every steer wrapped. When they get on that truck, they will all be wrapped, ready to go. When they get off of it, there'll be nothing to them.
I didn't even think about that. 320 steers wrapped.
We called it a wrapping party.
That's $20 a wrap. I mean, you guys might get a little break because you buy so many of them. But $20 a wrap on top of the $320,000 worth of steers on top of the cattle pots.
And on top of the people helping you wrap.
Tanner, after this deal, we're going to need to sit down with a calculator, and I'm going to need to show you some stuff, buddy.
You're right. You just said sometimes you just don't want to know.
You just don't want to know, I guess. As long as you can drive it, what did we say earlier? As long as you can drive a nice truck, eat where you want, and your kids are fed, you're fine.
Yeah.
You don't really want to know how much you're
really
making
wanna
or
know.
losing. You don't know.
Keep the lifestyle, you know.
Right? Yeah, so keep the lifestyle. Okay.
So that's what gets frustrating. Sometimes producers, they don't like to pay the freight, which they think it's a lot, which I understand, but
if that's what you're getting charged, I mean, of course, nobody likes to pay for anything. But if my invoice to Tanner says $600 and you show the producer $600, I'm not making $50.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's a producer that needs, that's the show that he's putting on. That's how he's making his money. So
that's the cost of cattle.
For sure.
I mean, that's the way I
It's not Tanner's fault that the diesel's $5 a gallon. I mean, it fluctuates obviously on diesel price, but it is what it is.
And they get mad at the people, the cattle pod drivers. They're like, well, he's charging too much. And I could argue with that, but at the same time, it's like how he has to pay somebody to drive that truck, and then what about the tires? What about the brakes? What about the?
You know how we charge on our cattle pod? Whatever diesel is at Love's in Buckeye at Miller Road and I-10, we charge that per mile. So if it's $4, it's $4 a mile. If it's $5.85, it's $5.85 a mile.
One other thing that doesn't get brought up.
We have found, and I actually stole that from Joe Mike Clem. that's how he told me he priced his pots. And that is the easiest way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, big shout out to him. That guy held a lot of cattle.
Yeah, and that's why I'm like, man, it's a lot more to it than just buying the steers and having them. And then,
obviously.
It's a lot.
The other thing that no one thinks about it too is most times when you're hauling anything, you get there, you unload it, they go to the next one. Well, this driver that's driving that truck, you need him back, in 6 hours, 8, whatever the case may be at the end of the day. Well, that's time that where he's not getting another load and he has to leave and come back, or most of the time they stay there. So it's a little different than that aspect of it too, So.
Yeah, and I mean, if I was doing it, I would just try to kind of get me an average and break it down and put it on the cattle, right? So I don't know what you get, but just spitballing numbers, if it's $2 a run you get or whatever, it would now be $2.25 a run.
Yeah.
If you want me to bring the cattle and eat the freight, it's $2.25 a run. If you just want to pay this guy straight, we can go back to what.
And actually, the last few times we've got to where we're doing that.
I think that's awesome. I mean, I think that's the way it should be done because that is just as important. It may be more important than the steer or the horn wrap or breaking in the cattle. It's all part of the game.
Why should I have to pay for my cattle to get to your roping?
No, you shouldn't.
No.
You shouldn't.
No.
I already have to feed them every day, twice a day, or how once a day, whatever we feed them, and I already have to wrap them and do everything else. The least you could do is be like, "Here you go.
Right.
Here's the freight."
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just
No,
how
I mean, I think you're spot on. I mean, I know it's a touchy subject, and not a lot of people want to talk about it. You don't piss nobody off, but that's true. I mean, you got to make money because an old guy told me one time, if you do business with somebody who's not making money and you're taking advantage of them, you're not going to be able to do business with that guy very long.
Yeah.
They're going to go out of business.
They're going to go out of business, right? So if these guys like your cattle and they like your wraps and they like the way these guys break them in, if they keep continuously, making it cost you money, it isn't very long before Tanner don't have cattle anymore.
Exactly.
It's very easy to do that math. So.
Just remember, Tanner, when we were, going and we had that COVID deal hit. Remember all the steers we had? We had nowhere to go.
Yeah.
I had to keep feeding these things and feeding them.
And we didn't have a roping.
Not a one. And we would bring them up. He would rotate, groups just to keep everything kind of moving. Mm-hmm. But I was just like, man, I mean, month after month after month, it was like 3-4 months. And that's when these Mexican rodeos would happen. We'd tail them. We'd send them to the tailings. I mean, we were doing,
I mean, how much does it cost a day to feed one? As well.
$4.
As well as anybody. $4 a day. times 400 of them.
Yeah, exactly.
I believe.
That's when you open your eyes. That's the first thing that happens.
Yeah, when this.
I can't tell you shit about a heel loop or a head loop, but I can tell you about a calculator.
And how you feed a cow. And yeah.
Yeah.
That was some times, and then some of them guys were like, they had all these prizes and stuff, and I'm like, I got 350 head we're feeding. The prizes are one thing, but feeding them damn things every day was a chore.
Yeah. Right. I got a question, and it was a question I got asked, and when I told them you were coming on here, and both of you guys were going to be here, and you're so tight, Arizona. So, do you guys, when you put on rope-ins or you go to rope-ins or whatever, like some of these rope-ins advertise, man, we're giving away 20 buckles, and then some rope-in will be like, we're giving away 1 buckle and we're paying the rest of the spots. What do you think draws more guys? The 20 buckles or the paying the spots? Or is it the 8s like the 20 buckles and the 13s like the paying?
Yep.
It's a number of ropings. The people that are just getting into team roping, they've never won a saddle. That's the coolest thing ever for them is to go win a saddle. You know what I mean?
We have a little story real quick.
That's why I got that.
He's laughing. He couldn't stop.
Tanner goes one time. He goes, everybody has a saddle. Over there. Everybody wants a saddle over there. I was like, not everybody. Not everybody.
And then I had to stop and think.
Yeah. So I mean, that's just kind of a.
So, but the higher number you are, Cesar, we won plenty of saddles.
We got to pay bills.
Yeah, at this point, we're trying to make some money.
Right.
There ain't a lot to make out here, so.
And another thing, guys like me that go, we spend all this time and money and go. We got to show something to mama. You know what I mean? I don't come home with some kind of fucking prize. You know what I mean?
It's gonna be like, I don't know.
Like, hey, I didn't win no money, but I got this buckle. I won 20th.
Like, Tanner, I need to borrow that champion breast collar you have. I need to borrow it.
It took me $6,000 to win this $100 buckle, babe, but I got the buckle.
We have no more money, but look at this saddle.
Yeah.
It looked like 500.
And of course, every time I won, it's just a back door. They didn't get no prizes out.
prizes.
Take a picture. Take a picture.
I'm gonna stand right here, mama. Yeah. So let's just keep rolling with that. What other kind of rodeo stories we got, boys? I think we've covered the hard topics.
Like I said, when I first met Tanner, his sidekick was Nano, and we had a hell of a good time there for a while.
Yeah. So
wait, hold on one second. So if my mother-in-law's watching this might be the time you want to click off. Okay, let's go.
Yeah. So I guess probably 2000. What year did we? What was that?
It was 19.
No, me and
18.
you. When the winner of the 2017 or 18, the fall. That's
Shoot.
kind of the first year I ever even went to any rodeos.
Is
I
that when
went to a few rodeos with Tanner, man. He was fun to rope
It
with.
was
He likes to
probably
win first, so I like that.
2017 or 18, he cracked me out. And I went to some circuit rodeos and stuff, but we won quite a bit of money.
We won about 10 grand right there within two weeks. So
Yeah,
it was fast.
we did pretty good. And then the next year I roped with Seth Hall, and we did all right. And then the third year is when I started roping with Nano, and man, it was fun. Good
Game
time.
changer?
Yeah, he's a game changer.
No.
So was the roping fun or the partying fun? 'Cause, I heard some stories in between.
Oh, it was all fun.
All of the above?
It's just stuff you can't experience at any other time. Like, you don't make no money doing it. I look back, I think it's so stupid. Like, look how far. I have nothing, no money, whatever. But at the same time, it's like, man, I have some great stories and experiences driving and just all kinds of stuff.
Well, we had a guy sitting in that seat on another podcast that blew 20 million, and I'm telling you, that is, again, we go back to it, the most positive person on the world. And that dude smoked through 20 million.
Yeah,
Said he had to dig change out of his van to buy his kids Little Caesars.
So
I mean, $20 million worth of funds worth something.
Yeah, but it's like almost like in high school, like you ain't gonna be able to go back and do that again. So it's at the moment. That's what you were supposed to do.
Yeah, and now the older I get and the kind of get sore in the morning, I'm like, man, I don't know if I could do that anymore. But at the time, I'm happy I did it, and like I said, we've had some good stories, wild.
So I got a question that kind of popped in my head. So you said you and Cesar jumped in together and went and made you 10,000 in what? month, 2 months?
No, it was within a week. It kind of finished out the year. I come from Pendleton, and roped with him. And we went to Albuquerque, Amarillo.
I think we won like 15,000.
We won a bunch.
Like
we won jackpot. We did some jackpots.
Poway.
Seemed like everywhere we went, we done good.
You just got Lucky Bucky.
Yeah, I just got a little.
Lucky Bucky.
Yeah, we've talked about Lucky Bucky.
You had Big Poppy.
Yeah, I had Big Poppy.
Big Poppy and Lucky Bucky.
He had Lucky Bucky, and that's when Lucky was at his craziest time of his life.
Yeah.
But could win every time.
Yeah, drew a good steer every time, didn't he?
So does it ever happen where you guys wake up in the morning and you remember that, right? You remember those times and you say, man, I got to buy me, I need to buy 20 more steers. I'm going to call Cesar and we're going to go to Wickenburg because I need to make me some money right now. And do you guys ever just kind of...
I tell Cesar all the time, I'm going to get rich. I'm going to build the nicest arena and nicest, and I'm going to have the best horses, and we're going to go back to rodeo.
Just go back to rodeo.
40 years old, I'm going to be out there just
I love it.
having the time of my life.
Heck yeah. So, I mean, what do you think about this jackpot game now? I mean, even from when you started roping to now, I mean, how much money is every week, not only weekend, but every week up for grabs at these places?
Man, it's getting, like in the wintertime down here, it's unbelievable. I mean, kids make...
It's crazy.
What's that Denton Dunning made over?
I mean, probably 80,000 this one. I mean, I don't know, but
well, yeah, probably though.
Probably
I mean,
80,000.
Just watching on Facebook, you see them just winning. You know.
Yeah, but there's a lot to it too. It takes a lot of money.
Yeah. Well, we just talked about. I mean, just the steer side.
Yeah, and the horse side of it nowadays. You know, back when Cesar started rodeoing, you could go buy you a good horse for 20,000. You know what I mean?
10,000, 12,000.
10,000. Now. Shoot, if you're gonna go rodeo, you better have one that was 30, 40,000,
Well, yeah, like again, you guys made a believer out of me.
And it's not just the talent, you know, the horsemanship, forget about the horse, how to ride that horse, the stuff that he's taught me, like I would get my feet back and they duct tape my feet, they strapped his feet to the front. That's the most uncomfortable situation I've ever been in my life. You know what I mean? My feet are stuck to the breast collar. And I'm just like, I don't care this much, Tanner, but he wanted me to know how it felt like, get your feet down and all that stuff. And I wouldn't change nothing for it. I mean, it was a great time to learn how to be it's like, I feel like I was on a reality show,
how to make a cowboy?
Yes. Because everything. Like, that's not how you tie your horse up, stupid. I was like, did I do it good? He's like, no. I'm like, fuck.
Well, it was like Larry the other day. She was talking about opening the door and this and that. We're talking. So today when I'm roping, I'm doing that on my horse. And I just catch myself doing it because, I mean, I think a lot of guys, and you guys probably don't even realize you do it because you're just cool dudes to hang out with. But, like, a lot of that stuff that you say resonates with guys that are kind of coming up, or guys like me. I mean, I'm past my prime, right? But I still enjoy roping, still have fun. Like, I'm roping. I send these guys pictures all the time. Hey man, we're out here. If you guys are around, come by or whatever. But like, it resonates with us, And I have to say thank you from a lot of people. Because sometimes, man, you guys aren't real approachable. I mean. I know for a fact I would have never walked up to Larry D. Guy and be like, hey, I'm Brendan, how's it going? You know what I mean? But now I would, now I know her, and she's super freaking cool, right? 20-time world champion, whatever she was. And she was awesome. We know that she doesn't like sushi. That is definitely...
She's cowgirl.
She's cowgirl. She don't like sushi, so.
And for me, little stuff, I'll ask guys like you, what do you think, and if I get you guys' approval, I don't care. For my eyes, you guys are the pros, so... If I know whatever I'm doing on a horse or not, anything to do with the cowboy type of way, if you guys give me it's cowboy enough, then I don't give a shit.
There's actually two different ways. There's me and then there's Cesar. Cesar will be like, hey, bro, you're really messing up. Me, I'm like,
I've told you.
You're the stupidest person I've ever met. Why would you do that again? Not only did you do that last time, now it's the third time. You're done. Get out of here.
You're out of here.
You're done. Like,
Go
we're
back
done.
to the dummy.
Yeah,
Go work the shoots.
But when I would actually do it good and I'd get praised by him, I felt so much better because I knew like I did it right because he ain't gonna sugarcoat shit.
I ain't
Well, but that's better.
Yes,
Right.
And
that's
then
how
when
I
you do a
wanted
good
it.
job, people be like, good shot.
No,
That's better.
for sure. That's the only way I would like it. You know,
Right. I rope around some guys that they rope sometimes with a guy they work for, and constantly, dude, all you hear, nice shot, good shot, man, what a shot, and you're like, come on, dude, wipe it off your chin, and like if he does make a good shot, like put some emphasis on it, you know what I mean?
Man, that was actually all right.
Right, you know what I mean? But
First time all day.
everybody's just trying to be cool, but it does mean a lot
Yes.
when a dude's been chewing your ass out, and then you're like, dude,
Yeah.
see?
And people like they like, do you, like, why do you do that? I was like, because I really care. Like, I really want you to get better, and it gets me like,
Right.
I know
You
you
get
can
fired
do it.
up.
Yeah.
I'm not the
That's why
only.
you're a good horse trainer.
I'm not the only person in the world that could do this. Like,
Right.
I know you could do it. Believe me.
Yeah.
Right. When did you start roping? Like how old were you?
I was
I mean, like roping on a horse, not just kind of
little guy.
little dude.
Oh, I would sneak outside, and my horse would walk up to the fence, and I'd crawl up on the fence and get on him and be swinging a rope at 2 years old. I mean, I couldn't talk. That's all I've ever done is ride horses, and literally, that's all I have. If it has a horse rope, I could do it. If it don't have that,
You don't even want to do it.
I don't even want to do it. Think
You
about
love
it.
it.
I'll just have somebody else do it for me.
Yeah.
What's your favorite rodeo?
Man,
You gotta have one.
this.
Ellensburg. I mean, you own the record there. Still
Yeah,
to this day.
Ellensburg's fine. I like that
That's
one.
fine.
But Pendleton, I mean, Cheyenne, those are like.
You were like what? High call at the. What were you and Bates?
Yeah, me and Bates, we were second high call
Second,
year one year
that's-
at the Daddy. That's a pretty cool. And that's back when it was like when Cesar won it. It's
Yeah,
not
it's-
a tournament.
Yeah.
You had to catch two and then make the short round and then catch a third one. Now you can almost miss one. And
Steers
still-
were bigger too. They're 650 pounders back then. They used to get on the truck. They used to average around 600.
But
big steers.
I like California time.
Well, I was-
probably
yeah.
probably my favorite time of year.
When you told me you were going, I was kind of surprised. You know, we're gonna go, and then you just said I'm headed to Cali. And I was like, that's cool.
I was just kind of, a couple reasons. One of our good friend I met through Cesar, Cord Forzano. I'm telling you.
Real deal.
Real deal.
I mean, when horse training, the best. I'm telling you. Two people that tell me out the most, Sean Grant and Cord Forzano.
That just sounds like a horse trainer name.
Yeah.
They
Like
talk.
he should be on a big sign.
Yeah.
He used to train for Randon Adams, and he had a lot to do with Diesel. He's 4-time AQHA world champ, and like all the horses that he rides are like similar to that horse.
Goes back to Dennis Gates. So, like, as my age, he always grew up with Dennis and worked for Dennis, and Dennis hauled him around everywhere.
Wow.
And then they all hung out with Randon Adams, Diesel, 3-time.
Shout out to the mill train.
Yeah.
Heel train.
Yeah.
Mill train in the house.
But Cord, when he talks, a guy listens because
cool.
he's
part horse, man.
yeah, he's the real deal.
Cool. So what's on the horizon as far as the horse game? Are you taking any more of the opportunities? You sticking with Love the Ladies? What are we doing?
Yeah, Love the Ladies. He's on top of the list right now, but we're taking a few more in. The thing I don't like about the rope horse fraternity, I like a lot about it, but some horses mature late. So it's like we're pushing these horses to be 4, 5, and 6 years old to be really good. And we spend a lot of money and spend a lot of time. And these guys make us, hey, we want this horse ready by September. And sometimes it's not going to happen.
Yeah, it's just
And so that's what I hate about it. That's why I'm kind of like, it's like, if that horse ain't ready until he's 7 years old, let the horse wait until he's 7 years old.
Right.
Don't push the horse, because then now the owner has $40,000 into this horse that ain't a $40,000 horse, and now the owner's lost interest in it, and he don't want nothing to do with this game.
yeah, and that's not good for the game.
So I'd rather be honest and be like, hey, your horse ain't ready. Straight up.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, it's
we've
better.
worked.
I'd rather hear that.
And I can't control the horse. He can't control. I mean, we could ride it and we could put in our times, but we can't control. I mean, it's a horse. We can't control. At the end of the day, it is what it is.
It's another brain.
Yeah, it's just,
Yeah.
and hopefully it goes good. And You know, it might not, but it's a gamble.
That show in particular, they got to work pretty. They got to look like they want to do it.
And I'll kind of explain it now. Also, when I placed one year with Cesar, there was like 40 head horses and maybe 100 heel horses. Everybody got 3 steers, and then if you did good, you made the short round, and you paid a certain amount of money. Now, the healing, there's so many heel horses in it.
280 this year.
Holy moly.
You only, so for $1,500, you only get 1 steer. If your helper misses, you're done.
Drop a leg, you're done. You get another steer, but you're pretty much out.
And even if it's not the horse's fault, that's what I don't like about it.
But does that add something to it and keep the prestige where it needs to be?
Well, when you win, you did something, man.
Yeah,
it's hard. Like it's to get a horse through the finish, and you did good.
But see, a little bit of it, I think that's what's not fair because the horse didn't win it. If the horse won it, like, it's hard for me to explain, but there's so much than just the horse going into
because
it.
it's almost a one-header at that point. Because if you miss,
well, no, because look at there's a helper. There's a whole nother brain and a horse that really has nothing to do with it.
With the horse that you're showing.
The only thing that has anything on the line is a horse that's actually.
That's why Miles got so good on the back, right?
You know what I mean? The helper's horse. What happens if he freaks out and costs you?
Yeah.
What happens if the helper? You know, that's a little bit of why it's like, the prestige. But there's some horses that are the best horse there, but the header missed the first one.
Yeah, the healer up the leg and they didn't make the short.
That's what I mean. It's like almost to a one-header at that point. If they're missed, they're done.
Yeah, they're
on either side.
done.
Any mistake.
Yeah.
And what I don't like about that is, like I said, clients, they do this to watch their horse win and have fun, and then you miss in the first round, and they've had all this money in training, and then they paid the entry fee, and the helper missed, and it's like, man, it kind of takes the
air right out of the balloon.
You know what I'm saying? And then the guy,
I get it.
then as the trainer, the guy's like, hey, we have all this money in it, and we got nothing out of it. And
who the hell's this helper you brought with you?
Yeah.
Cesar who?
Exactly. So
It happens, man. Like,
to me, I love training horses. There's no better thing. If the horse is ready and he needs to be shown, I think let's do it. But if the horse ain't ready, my opinion, I think it's better off telling the guy that owns it and everybody, hey, we'll wait till next year, or he's just not gonna.
So do you think they don't do that because, like, if they say they have a 4, 5, and 6-year-old class, and then they would have like a open class or whatever you'd want to call it at the end, do you think they don't do that because it would be flooded with everyone, or what? Why wouldn't they do it? Because, like in the Buck and Bull thing, you know, you have like a 2-year-old futurity, and you know you have and it gets up and up and up, and then at the top, you know, it's basically an open. I forget what they call a classic or something like that. But you can buck any bull you bring. Right. So I wonder why they don't do that.
They've started that in the Royal Crown, so another kind of fraternity, small fraternity. They started having an open class, but they haven't got too many. I don't know why, but they haven't got too many entries on it.
Well, cool.
So you going anywhere else this year?
Man, I don't know. I got about 15 to 20 horses in right now that we're riding, and I got Daniel, a kid. He helps me, comes every day.
Shout out Daniel. That boy's. I've known Daniel a long time. I've introduced him to these guys, and where Daniel's come and where he is today, you have a lot of impact on that boy's life.
But
and
he's strong. He's took many of Astunes with the best of them. And he'll wake up the next day and have a smile on his face and be just happy.
That's what it takes to be a winner.
Yep.
Hey, that kid's a champion. I promise you.
How about my man Duck? We got to shout out my man Duck.
Duck.
He shows up Monday through Sunday.
Might have to get them kids a little bit, but he'll, you know what I mean?
Tell me somebody else that's funner to be around Sunday through Monday.
Oh,
Duck.
Happy. Hey, bro.
That dude would go fishing in a water trough. Like, he wouldn't even care. Dude.
That time I was telling you about when I used to show up every day over there, the music blaring and all that stuff. That group of people right there, I mean, we had Tim, Bob, and Chrissy. We had Nano, Duck, Jake. You know.
Shout out to Big J.
And we didn't go nowhere, you know, for 3 damn months. All we did was break in steer. I mean, we just hung out.
Job.
I mean,
come back,
Yes.
go back to the steer business. It's a job.
Oh,
Like
yes.
it's
Definitely.
Monday through Sunday, 7 days a week. You eat it, sleep it, whatever.
And I tried to like prove myself, when you first came, like in a sense where I was, you knew I didn't know shit about this deal, and I was up front with you about it. I was like, I need your help, like.
Shit, I didn't know that much about steers, but I've been around them my whole life, and I mean, it's kind of all. I mean, horses, training horses, cattle. It's all kind of.
We had a cow get out steer get out one time, and it was running for the gate. So everybody's, jump on their horse, cowboying and shit. So Nano, he's coming, and he's like a commercial getting her open. And he's like, "Where are you going?" And I'm riding straight for the gate. I'm gonna go close the gate,
What happened? Nano's like, rope it.
Yeah.
And he runs by the cow.
I run right by it. And he's like, rope it. I'm like, no, I'm gonna go shut the gate.
But this is even a better
That's the farmer in you.
No, this is a better story. So Brandon, I have to tell people, he wanted a fence around this. he wanted a fence around this feedlot, so if the cattle got out, they wouldn't get down into the wash.
Right.
So I had these guys come build. The fence, and there was holes everywhere. Like they could get out in so many spots. So even still to this day, we have one side of a fence and kind of a half of a back fence, but all that other part is open.
No. The steer gets out, so I go and close the gate. The steer sees I close the gate, turns around, and then right where the corner is, there's a little, gate like that. The steer runs right through it. Boom! And it's gone. And I'm like, Tanner! Fuck.
Guess who got the steer and brought it
Yeah,
back?
he did.
Nano and them were all after it. Guess who came from back 40 and brought the steer back?
There you go.
Had to rope them and bring them
Dude,
back.
I'll tell you a story.
It's never a dull moment, man, around these guys. I'm telling you, it's
No,
fun.
and I get mad the whole time, so might as well know I'm cussing. I'm throwing my hat on the ground, and it's like the worst day of my life, probably, the way I'm acting.
It's not the $900 steel.
And we're dragging it through the desert right now because we can't shut the gates.
We get over there. We have a roping one time over there, and something happened. And I don't know, the computer, you looked at me like, what are we going to do? And I was like, I don't know what we're going to do. What the fuck are you asking me for?
Every time you get a butt chewing from Tanner over there when you're breaking in the steers, come on, it's a $900 steer.
He goes, we're training the steers, not the horse.
Get your mind right.
Or these guys, the best is when I have these guys come over and heel, and you have just a nice little sweetie steer, just the beautiful. He just comes out and just yanks the crap out of it. It's like, dude, it just took everything we had for me to push this steer around, and you just yanked the guts out of it. So
Hey,
then,
man, I'm a meat eater, dude.
So then the next day,
I eat beef. I
so,
eat beef.
So the next day, I got beef out there the next day. Oh, we ain't dallying today.
Oh, and he tells me, just bump them. I can't dally very good to start with. I don't know what bumping it means. I'm doing the best I can. I'm trying
Laying
to.
back.
I'm like, I'm practicing.
Well, what Nano says, I branded out.
Oh, yeah, Nano's like, you see my brand on it? And I'm looking up, I see my brand. What are you talking about? He's like, on his legs.
Oh man, these rodeo stories could go on all night, but I think we better close it out. But I think we need Tanner back.
Yeah.
Man, it was good. I wanted the listeners to know what goes down as far as the
me
steer,
too.
the roping production side of it. There's more to roping than just roping over there.
Yeah, shout out to Tolleson-Mack too for a
love it.
sweet podcast and
love it.
having us
Thanks
out
for
here.
having us, Tan.
We got some big plans with talking to some people, and we're working on some matches and some different formats that this roping game has never seen, and we won't get into too many details quite yet, but you guys are gonna be surprised what we have up our sleeve. I mean,
Tanner, you're gonna be part of one of our headers.
Yeah, just
when,
keep it up.
we got some big plans, they say. So.
Alrighty, well, we'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you.
Thank you.